Hello friends, very warm welcome to all of you. Today we would study about the end or decline of the Harappan civilization. In our previous session, we studied about the mature phase of the Harappan civilization. We studied about the Harappan centers. We studied about the developed town planning and arrangements of sanitization. We studied about brickworks and many more things about the developed phase of the Harappan civilization. But after some time, the Harappan civilization started declining. Was it a complete decline or only a decline of the urban elements of the Harappan civilization? We would try to source the answer of this question in this lecture. About the decline of Harappan civilization, we find the controversial view among the historians and archaeologists. Many archaeologists and historians have propounded many theories regarding the decline of the Harappan civilization. We would study all the theories one by one. The first theory regarding the decline or the end of the Harappan civilization is the Aryan invasion theory. The Aryan invasion theory has been propounded by Mortimer Wheeler. Mortimer Wheeler was a great archaeologist and he propounded the Aryan invasion theory. He presented some evidences in support of his argument. He pointed out that there were some words in Rig Veda. Those words were Harappan and Purandar. Harappan was the name of Harappa in the Rig Veda, and Purandar had been mentioned for Indra, which was a god of Aryans. The meaning of Purandar is the breaker of forts, and on that basis he presented the theory of Aryan invasion. He pointed out that Aryans invaded the Harappan region and they captured the Harappan region completely and they destroyed all the structures in the Harappan region. Moreover, they killed the Harappan people in the Harappan region. There was a confrontation between the Harappan people and the Aryans, and this was the reason for the decline of the Harappan civilization. Another historian by the name of Ramprasad Chanda supported this theory, and Mortimer Wheeler presented many archaeological evidences in support of his argument. He pointed out that we find skulls at Mohenjo-daro and we find evidences of cut wound on the skulls. He also presented the evidence of symmetry etch in the Harappa region. But when we observe minutely, we find that the Aryan invasion theory has no relevance. Mortimer Wheeler was an imperialist, and it seems that Mortimer Wheeler has tried to prove the British invasion through his theory of Aryan invasion. That's why we reject the theory of Aryan invasion in terms of the decline of Harappan civilization. Next theory is environmental theory. Under this theory, we present the environmental factors as causes for the decline of Harappan civilization. The first environmental factor that was responsible for the decline of Harappan civilization was flood. The scholar by the name of Mackay presented evidences in support of the flood as the cause of the decline of Harappan civilization. Moreover, S.R. Rao also supported this theory. But some scholars such as R.L. Reichs presented the view that the flood was not the normal flood, but it was a catastrophic flood. He presented evidences and study that Mohenjo-daro region was a seismic region. It was a tectonically disturbed region, and when some environmental factors happened, there were floods in the Indus, and that flood created problems for the people of the Harappan civilization, and that's why the people were evacuated due to this catastrophic flood, and this led to the decline of the Harappan civilization. Next theory is change in the courses of river. This theory has been propounded by S.D. Lambrick. According to this theory, changes in the course of the river Indus occurred in the Harappan region that led to the decline of the Harappan civilization. When the Indus moved away about 30 miles from the Indus region, there were lack of water in the Indus region that led to the decline of Harappan civilization. Thus, the debate changed from the excessive water to the lack of water, and now many scholars supported the view that the decline of the Harappan civilization was due to the lack of water. Many scholars such as Gurudeep Singh and others studied the flora and fauna in the Indus region, and they concluded that the lack of water was responsible for the decline of Harappan civilization. Another scholar, Mr. Chakravarti, presented another view for the decline of Harappan civilization. He presented the view that the developed urban centers were swallowed up by the indigenous people who were less developed, and their culture was not based on the urban culture. They were less developed people, their economy was a village economy, and they were not so much developed like the Harappan people. But when the Harappan civilization expanded in the adjoining regions where these local and less developed people lived, then the developed urban civilization was swallowed up by these less developed people, and this was the root cause for the decline of Harappan civilization. Moreover, next theory has been propounded by other scholars who pointed out that the reason for the decline of Harappan civilization was the disturbance in the external trade of the Harappan civilization. There was developed trade between Harappan regions and Mesopotamia, but due to some reasons, this systematic trade disturbed that led to the decline of Harappan civilization. A state by the name of Elam appeared as a strong state that disturbed the trade and commerce between the Harappan region and the Mesopotamia. Now, the people of the Harappan civilization were not able to trade with the Mesopotamia, and that led to the decline of Harappan civilization. Now, the people of the Harappan civilization were not able to trade with the Mesopotamian people. Now they were not able to get raw materials like tin, silver, and other things that led to the decline of trade and commerce and industry in the Harappan region. The people of the Harappan civilization had established many beads factories that were dependent upon the raw materials from the Mesopotamia, and when the trade and commerce between the Indus region and the Mesopotamia disturbed, that resulted into the decline of Harappan civilization. Lastly, we can say that the decline of Harappan civilization was not the complete decline of the civilization. It was the decline of the elements of urbanism in the Harappan civilization. Moreover, the decline of various centers in the Harappan civilization was not the same. There were many causes and reasons for the decline of various centers in the Harappan civilization. One cause was responsible for the one reason, and another cause was responsible for the another reason in the Harappan civilization. There was not any uniformity in the causes for the decline of Harappan civilization. Moreover, we find a less developed culture after the decline of Harappan civilization. We call it the post-Harappan cultures. We find the traces of post-Harappan civilization or post-Harappan culture in the regions such as Pakistan, and in the Indian subcontinent we find regions such as Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Western Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, and Jammu and Kashmir. The post-Harappan culture was a Chalcolithic culture. In the Chalcolithic culture, people were using the metal by the name of copper. He started using copper in place of bronze, and they made many articles with copper such as axes, knives, chisels, and other things. The development of copper articles led to the permanent settlement and the development of agriculture. The the economy of the people in the Chalcolithic cultures was dependent upon agriculture, domestication of animals, food gathering and fishing. We find traces of post-Harappan culture in Ahar, which is situated in Rajasthan near Udaipur. We find traces of post-Harappan culture in Ahar. Moreover, we find traces of post-Harappan culture in Gilund too. The name of the place is Gilund, which is also situated in Rajasthan. Moreover, we find various other places where we find traces of the post-Harappan culture, and in this way the mature Harappan culture changed into the post-Harappan culture that was less developed and a village culture. Thank you so much.